My child, why has your heart been so heavy lately? Why do you keep thinking about everything that could go wrong instead of trusting me with what is ahead? Every night, you try to rest, but your thoughts refuse to slow down. Your body is tired, but your mind keeps running. You keep worrying about tomorrow, about money, about people, about the future, about things you cannot control. And little by little, anxiety has been stealing your peace. You smile around others, but deep inside, you feel exhausted. Exhausted from pretending to stay strong. Exhausted from carrying battles nobody knows about. Sometimes, you even feel afraid to admit how overwhelmed you truly are. But my child, I have seen every silent tear. I have heard every prayer you whispered quietly at night, even the ones you could not finish because your heart felt too heavy. And that is why you are hearing this message right now, because I do not want you to continue living under fear. I never created you to be controlled by anxiety. I never asked you to carry the weight of the future alone. Yet every day, you keep trying to solve everything by yourself. You keep overthinking situations that have not even happened yet. You keep replaying problems in your mind again and again until fear becomes louder than faith. But listen carefully now. Worry has never added peace to your life. Fear has never changed tomorrow. It only steals the strength I gave you for today. The enemy wants your thoughts exhausted, because exhausted minds struggle to hear my voice clearly. That is why anxiety attacks your peace first. Because if your mind stays trapped in fear, you begin doubting my promises. You begin believing you are alone in this battle. But my child, you are not alone. Not in your pain, not in your confusion, not in the sleepless nights, not in the moments where your heart feels overwhelmed. I have been beside you through all of it. Even during the seasons where you thought I was silent, I was still working behind the scenes. Even when doors closed, I was protecting you. Even when plans failed, I was redirecting you. Even when people walked away, I was keeping your heart from future pain. You keep asking, why is this happening to me? But you cannot see what I am saving you from. Sometimes, the delay you hate today will become the blessing you thank me for later. Sometimes, what feels like rejection is actually my protection. And sometimes, I allow storms in your life not to destroy you, but to bring you closer to me. Because when everything else fails, you finally realize that I am the only peace that never changes. My child, you spend so much time worrying about tomorrow. But have you forgotten how many times I already carried you before? There were moments you thought would completely break you, yet somehow you survived. That was not luck. That was me holding you together when you were too weak to hold yourself together. And I have not abandoned you now. In Philippians 4:6-7, I said, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." That means the burden crushing your mind tonight was never meant to stay in your hands. You were supposed to give it to me, not hide it behind fake smiles, not bury it deep inside your chest, not carry it until it destroys your peace. Give it to me, because I care about you more than you understand. I know the future you are afraid of, and I am already there. So breathe for a moment. Stop trying to control everything. Stop believing you must fight every battle alone. And listen carefully to this truth. The same God who protected you yesterday is still protecting you today. And no matter how impossible life feels right now, I will make a way for you again. My child, anxiety has been lying to you for a long time. It keeps telling you that if you stop worrying, everything will fall apart. So your mind keeps running endlessly. You wake up already stressed. You spend the day overthinking, and at night, your thoughts become even louder. You think about conversations repeatedly. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You fear failure. You fear rejection. You fear losing the people you love. You fear not becoming successful enough. You fear being left behind while everyone else moves forward. And slowly, fear begins controlling your life. Not because the problems are bigger than me, but because anxiety keeps pulling your focus away from my promises. My child, you were never created to live constantly afraid. Fear was never meant to become your identity. Yet every day, you carry emotional burdens that I never asked you to carry. You try to control tomorrow. You try to predict every outcome. You try to fix every situation yourself. And when things do not go as planned, your heart fills with panic. But listen carefully now. You cannot find peace while trying to control everything, because peace only comes when you finally trust me completely, not partially, not only when life feels easy. Real trust happens when life feels uncertain, but you still believe I am holding your future. And I know that is difficult sometimes. I know there are nights where your thoughts feel heavier than your faith. But my child, your emotions do not change my faithfulness. Just because you feel afraid does not mean I have abandoned you. Just because you cannot see the answer yet does not mean I am not working. There are blessings forming right now that you cannot see yet. There are battles I am fighting for you silently. If only you could see how many times I have already saved you, you would understand that you are far safer in my hands than in your own control. The enemy wants your thoughts exhausted, because exhausted minds become easier to fill with doubt. That is why he attacks your peace first. He wants you distracted. He wants you overwhelmed. He wants you so consumed by fear that you stop trusting me. But tonight, I am calling you back into peace, not because life suddenly became perfect, but because I am still greater than every problem you face. My child, stop carrying tomorrow as if I am not already there. I stand in the future you keep worrying about. I already know how your story ends, and nothing happening in your life right now has caught me by surprise. So when fear tells you that everything is falling apart, remember this: I am still in control, even in the waiting, even in the confusion, even in the silence, even in the delay. I am still working behind the scenes. And one day, you will realize that the seasons you feared the most were actually the moments where I was protecting you the deepest. My child, some of the battles you are fighting right now are happening entirely inside your mind. Nobody around you fully sees it. They see your smile. They hear your normal conversations. They think you are doing fine, but deep inside, you feel mentally exhausted. Because every day, your thoughts keep fighting against you. You keep questioning yourself. Am I enough? What if my future fails? What if nothing changes? What if I disappoint everyone? What if things never get better? And slowly, those thoughts begin draining your strength. My child, you cannot hear my peace clearly when fear is constantly speaking louder in your mind. That is why you must stop feeding anxiety every single day. Some of you wake up and immediately fill your heart with stress. You overthink from the moment you open your eyes. You carry pressure all day long. And at night, instead of resting in my presence, you sit alone with fearful thoughts until your soul feels heavy again. But I never wanted your mind to become a prison. I created your heart for peace. The world will always give you reasons to panic. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be delays. There will always be situations you cannot control. But my child, Your peace was never supposed to depend on perfect circumstances. Your peace comes from knowing that I am with you through every circumstance. Even now, while you are worrying about tomorrow, I am already making a way ahead of you. You may not see it yet, but doors are opening, lessons are forming, strength is growing inside you, and the pain you hate right now is shaping you into someone stronger than before. I know you want immediate answers. I know you want instant relief. But sometimes I allow waiting seasons because your spirit grows deeper there. Sometimes the strongest faith is built during the hardest battles. Do not mistake silence for abandonment. Just because you cannot hear me clearly does not mean I left you. There are moments where I work the most quietly. While you are crying, I am listening. While you are confused, I am guiding you. While you are afraid, I am protecting you from things you cannot even see. My child, think about how many times you believed your life was falling apart, yet somehow you survived every single time. There were nights you thought you would never recover, moments you thought would destroy you forever. But you are still here, still breathing, still standing, still moving forward. That was not your strength alone. That was me carrying you through every storm. And if I carried you before, why would I abandon you now? I have not forgotten your prayers. I have not ignored your tears, and I have not stopped working on your life. Even this current battle will not last forever. One day, you will look back at this season and realize that the very thing meant to break you actually brought you closer to me. My child, you spend so much time thinking about what could go wrong that you forget how much could still go right. Fear keeps showing you the worst possible future, but faith reminds you that I am still in control, and right now, you have a choice. You can continue feeding your anxiety, or you can start trusting me again. Because whatever fills your mind the most eventually controls your heart. If you constantly fill your thoughts with fear, peace becomes harder to hold on to. But when you begin bringing your worries to me, something inside you slowly changes. Not because every problem disappears overnight, but because you finally stop carrying them alone. My child, I never asked you to understand everything. I asked you to trust me. Trust me when the future feels uncertain. Trust me when prayers seem delayed. Trust me when life does not make sense. Trust me when your heart feels tired. Because even when you cannot see what I am doing, I am still working. There are moments where I protect you quietly, moments where I redirect your path without you realizing it, moments where I close doors because I can see pain ahead that you cannot see yet. But anxiety makes you believe every closed door is the end. It makes you believe every delay means failure. That is why fear drains your strength. It keeps your focus trapped on what is missing instead of what I am preparing. My child, you keep asking me for peace while holding tightly to worry. But peace only grows when you finally release control. You cannot carry fear in one hand and faith in the other forever. At some point, you must decide which one you will trust more. And tonight, I am asking you to place your future in my hands again. Not just the easy parts. Give me the hidden fears too. The stress you never talk about. The thoughts keeping you awake at night. The pressure you carry silently. The worries you keep replaying in your mind. Give it all to me, because I care about every burden you have been carrying alone. My child, there is nothing impossible for me. The situation scaring you right now is not beyond my power. I can open doors no person can close. I can make a way where there seems to be none. I can restore what anxiety has stolen from your heart. But first, you must stop believing that fear has more power than my promises, because it does not. I am bigger than your anxiety, bigger than your uncertainty, bigger than the future you are so afraid of. And even now, while you are listening to these words, I am already working things out in ways you cannot yet see. My child, one of the greatest mistakes you keep making is believing that you must carry everything alone. So when problems appear, you panic. When delays happen, you overthink. When life feels uncertain, you immediately expect the worst. And slowly, your mind becomes tired from carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. But listen carefully now. You were never meant to be your own source of peace. That is why no amount of control has been able to calm your heart. No amount of overthinking has given you real rest. No amount of worrying has changed the future. It has only drained your strength. My child, there are people listening right now who feel emotionally exhausted, not because life is physically hard, but because their mind never gets quiet. Even during peaceful moments, they still expect something bad to happen. Even when prayers are answered, fear tells them it will not last. That is what anxiety does. It steals your ability to fully rest in my presence. But I do not want you living like this anymore. I want you to experience the peace that comes from trusting me completely. Not temporary peace, not fake peace, real peace. The kind of peace that remains steady even when life feels uncertain. Because true peace does not come from perfect situations. It comes from knowing that I am still with you through every situation. My child, you keep asking for signs that I am near. But how many times have I already protected you without you noticing? How many disasters have I already prevented? How many wrong paths did I quietly remove from your life? You only see the prayers that seem unanswered, but you do not see the pain I have already saved you from. One day, you will understand why certain doors had to close, why certain people had to leave, why certain delays had to happen. And when that day comes, you will realize that I was protecting you all along. So stop believing that your life is falling apart. Some things are not falling apart. They are falling into place. Even now, while you feel confused, I am still guiding your steps. While you feel uncertain, I am still making a path forward. While you feel weak, I am still holding you together. My child, do not let fear convince you that this season will last forever. Storms do not stay forever. Pain does not stay forever. And anxiety does not have the final word over your life. I do. So tonight, release the pressure to control everything. Release the fear of what tomorrow may bring. Release the burden you were never meant to carry alone. And trust me again. Because the same God who brought you through every past battle will bring you through this one too. My child, before this message ends, I need you to remember something. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and you are not fighting this battle alone. I know there are moments where your mind feels tired, moments where fear feels stronger than faith, moments where you wonder if things will ever get better. But even in those moments, I am still with you. I am still guiding you. I am still protecting you in ways you cannot see yet. My child, do not let anxiety convince you that your future is hopeless. Your story is not over. The delays are not permanent. The pain is not meaningless. and the battle in your mind will not last forever. Because I am greater than every fear trying to control you, greater than every burden keeping you awake at night, greater than every problem standing in front of you right now. So stop carrying tomorrow as if I am not already there. I hold your future in my hands, and nothing about your life has escaped my control. In Isaiah 41:10, I said, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." Hold on to that promise tonight. Read it again when fear returns. Remember it when anxiety whispers lies to your mind. And remind yourself that the God who carried you before will carry you again. My child, you do not need to have every answer tonight. You only need to trust the one who does. So rest now. Release your worries into my hands, and let your heart remember this truth. No matter how difficult this season feels, I will never leave you.